Which part are we? You see? 5? 5 or 6? Part 6.
Okay, I just to go back one point we had referred to about the Egyptian goddess Isis and what you had described, the mythic presences that explore unfathomable depths of intimacy. And I thought that was a very interesting perception. And I want to try to, you don't have to contrast, I'm not asking for a contrast, but how the theories and philosophies of John Cage in his idea of silence also has to do with what? The void itself. What is inside of the void of silence. And what he did was to elaborate, first of all, to kind of approach an absolute silence, if there is such a thing. Secondly, that there is an organic harmonic that takes place in human life, that there is no actual silence. There's, I don't want to get into his stories, but he, one curious thing he said very briefly was he went to the anechoic chamber at MIT, and he went into it. The technician said this is a place where there's absolutely no sound. And he came, and after a while he stayed in there for a long time, and then he came out and he went to the engineer and he said, but it wasn't completely silent. And so the engineer said, well, describe what you heard. And he said, well, I heard two sounds. So the engineer said, well, the high-pitched sound that you heard was your nervous system in operation. And the low-pitched sound was your blood in circulation. So you can't escape it, except if you're not in the world and in the outside void. And then there is the void itself. What is the void inside of a black hole? Inside of the meaning of what we talked about before, non-being. So this has to do with history in many ways, and how we understand what it is, the difference between individuality and your readings of the classicist Norman O. Brown and his work with many different aspects of psychoanalysis of history itself. I don't know if you want to talk about that at all.
Not really, because you recommend me with Henry, you recommend me the lecture of Norman O. Brown. I like to read him, but it's only quotes about different, he quotes mostly Freud, and today I tried to find an extract from him, and I was reading a nice part, and it was written by Henry Miller. So, but I understand what you say, and to tell the people that I want to say that you're from New York, and you meet all those big generation. You met with John Cage, you met with Alan Greenberg, and I don't know if you met Kerouac also.
No, he was gone.
He was gone, yeah. But you met all those guys, and I should say it's really important. Yeah, you took some course with John Cage. You took some course with him.
My friend did.
Yeah, Henry. Second hand.
Second hand, but quite extensive, because he was really thrilled with.
Yeah. So it's complicated because John Cage. I like his artworks because he was doing some drawing on the floor with large long paper, and he was going with a broom with ink, Chinese ink, and it was like a time passing by, and at the end there's no more ink. Like at the end of our lives, there's no more life, and he was also working with stone like this, and
it's an adder stone.
Yeah, he gave me the idea about working with stones, and he was doing like the contour of the stone, and because he was impressed with the Japanese temple in Kyoto, the Ryonji.
Figurative in a way.
Yeah, no, it is.
Head, body, tail.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Very interesting, beautiful.
So I'm interested in all those concepts, but I'm not a musician, so I cannot, but I
in terms of harmonics, you do.
Yeah,
in terms of your color expression, color resonance.
Yeah. I like the void to be there, and that's where everything is creating. Yeah, we talked the other day about the being to point. That's the starting point of the cosmos, of course, and of us. Yeah, of course.
Herman Melville's Bartleby, as you say, Bartleby.
I say Bartleby. Yeah, we don't know.
There's no. Okay, and this is an important influence to you, and the interesting part of it is what the critiques of Jacques Deleuze, who understood. He said Bartleby is a detonator and a revelator in his environment, especially in a New York City office in the mid-1800s. He is not a sick man, as was perceived by his people in his environment, but the doctor of a sick America. So you relate Bartleby to the experience of the Amerindians,
yeah, exactly, yeah.
And of the plains, and the encounter with the American settler movement that really destroyed their culture, and also with the betrayal of American politicians and their treaties with the American Indians, and thus confusing the pertinent phrase Indian giver, which sounds innocuous, but when you really understand what it means, it's just that when you give something to the Indians, it doesn't mean that doesn't mean it's given. So also you had another aspect was in Tarkovsky's.
Oh, I'm going to answer about Bartleby.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, let's go back.
No, I wrote this text. Yeah, I told you about two years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago, and I think this guy Bartleby is like he's working in the office of a lawyer. We don't really know if he's a lawyer or notary, public notary, And he's staying. He doesn't have a place. He's like an homeless. He doesn't have a place to stay, and he's working in his So he's staying in the office. And
he's living there.
He's living there. Yeah. He was sleeping under his desk, and he was eating only ginger cookies, only that, and he was really like a monk, living like a monk. Yeah. And in fact, he reminded me because while I was living in a farm, like 80 kilometers from here, I lived in a farm as an hermit also, like for 10 years. Yeah. And a friend of mine were living there next by. He was living in a house all by himself, and he had been a fireman in Paris. He had a good life, and he decided to retire to keep this house. He was the guardian of the house, like the guardian of a farm. And we used to talk almost every day, and he was always walking with a colombe, in French, like a bird on his shoulder.
Oh yes, a big bird. Yeah, a
white colombe.
A white, yeah.
And he was the only human I used to meet, and we get really close. And at the end, he ended up like Bartleby in an hospital. Because the lawyer didn't have any other choice to put him somewhere because he didn't want to move from the office, and he asked him, Bartleby, you want to travel to Europe with some rich friends? Or he said, no, I rather not. That is sound. I rather not. And I think that's that's the most famous. And I thinking maybe artists are also like that. We rather not do this freaking shit, So it's a lot of connections, between the work to be an artist or to be an hermit living in a forest by yourself. It's all connected. And somehow I'm feeling like an hermit. I don't know if it's that in English. And because I'm also working all by myself, and to have met my friend Auguste and to read this book and to read the nice comment about Deleuze, about being an artist, being resistant, and I'm going to quote a few passages of this book if you don't mind.
Good.
If I could find it. So, Bartleby. So at one point of the book, the owner, the lawyer, who is a nice guy, he's a really nice guy. He tried to help him. You want to eat something? No, I rather not. You want? Yeah. So he said about Bartleby, and this is where Bartleby lives, the only spectator of a solitude he has seen all populated, a new innocent Marius brooding over the ruins of Carthage. So you get into mythological scene, like he seen the world disappearing. As I was telling about the Indians, the bison, everybody get killed at that time, And now it's 10 times worse because obviously even the vers de terre, the insect get killed. Everybody get killed, For the first time in my life, an overwhelming and poignant melancholy seized me. Until then, I had only ever felt a sadness that was not devoid of charm. Sometimes we are some kind of romantic, we like to look at those poor people, but he gets it really into the sufferance of Bartleby. But the bond of a common humanity threw me into an irresistible consternation. Brotherly melancholy. For Bartleby and I were both sons of Adam. Yeah, we all born from Adam somehow, and we all get seeing each other getting destroyed in front of us. I don't know if you know how many homeless people there is in Paris. It's just getting crazy. You will see that if you go to Paris this week. Yeah. It's getting crazy. Yeah. And at one point, at the end, he come to visit him at the hospital. Or the jail. I don't know if it was an hospital or jail. Bartleby. So Bartleby answered, I know you, he said without turning around. and I have nothing to say. You know, because he gets fed up. He gets fed up with the world.
Uh-huh.
I know where I am, he replied. But he would say nothing more, and I left him. And then, at the end, a little further on, after he has refused to eat for several weeks, and his corpse is discovered lying on a bench in the courtyard, the bouncing face of the fricotier scrutinized me. I don't understand what it means. His lunch is ready. He's not going to lunch today either. Would he leave without eating? He leave without eating, the lawyer answered. I replied and closed my eyes. And he sleep, doesn't he? With the king and councillors, I murmured. He sleep with God. He's gone. He's happy where he is. Because there was no fight to do anymore.
Yeah.
No fight, that's it. And I think we get in this time like this. It's too many things happening all the time, all over. There's war all over. It's just like in World War II, it was hard, but we knew at one point the war will be over. But now we know that the nature is going to be destroyed every day. The climate is changing.
Yes.
So what can we do? That's a big question. That's why I like this guy, Bartleby, so much.
About melancholia, which melancholia really is the medieval or early description of depression. It's the same thing. What we call depression, they call melancholia, and there were attempts to find ways to remedy that through elixirs, etc.
Yeah, but some people, the romantic people were happy with melancholia.
There's a charm in it too.
Yeah, like
there is.
Of course. Yeah, there's some painter, German painter, painting the no. Maybe we can stop and we're going to do a conclusion.
Okay.